Hello, Aquarius. This is what you can do for your mental health for the week of the 7th through the 13th. We have Three of Pentacles clarified by the Knight of Wands. So when you're planning long term and you're coming up with strategies on how to, Pentacles have to do with health or they have to do with career and finances, leading to material possessions. So anything in the physical world is what pentacles are representing. To me, because we are talking about what you can do for your mental health, this is more about your health, but there is some issue with either a relationship or something to do with your job this week. So when you're making this long-term plan, really approach things from a different angle, okay? Look at them from a different aspect. Don't make them out to be a bigger issue than they are. Really keep that in mind. Don't catastrophize this week. Then we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, it talks about unity. It talks about bringing two things together in order to make them one. And so it talks about wholeness. And with mental health, this can be about integration more than about a relationship with another person. So we have King of Cups, Page of Cups, and Seven of Swords in reverse for this. Now the King of Cups, kings are fatherly figures. They take leadership. They take ownership of things. He is diplomatic because he's got his emotions under control. So when he's approaching a situation, he is very diplomatic about it. And the Page of Cups, she is talking about inspiration and learning, even getting a message from this learning, from this inspiration, getting an aha moment, like a muse triggering a sudden, oh, now I understand this, or now I've got this insight, that type of message. It can be a literal message too. But to me, this is more talking about needing to be, when you're trying to achieve this wholeness and this integration and this two becoming one, whether it's a relationship or it's something inside of you that you're trying to, if you're doing your shadow work and you're trying to integrate the things that you don't like about yourself with the things that you do like about yourself and blend them so that you're healthier, so that you're not repressing those things. When you're doing that, it's saying be diplomatic with yourself. Learn to understand yourself. The Seven of Swords in reverse, it has, because it's a 7, it has a dual meaning for both in the upright and in the reverse. So the dual meaning, it can talk about deception and secrets, so those being revealed, but it can also talk about acceptance and responsibility. To me here, if there was some sort of deception, be it self-deception, like an imposter syndrome, feeling like you weren't good enough type of thing, or it could be somebody else's deception, you're definitely going to need to sit down and maybe do some learning, take some inspiration, and be diplomatic about that, about how you're going to heal that rift and make it whole again. Then we have Six of Swords, which talks about going to a better place in your thinking, going to calmer waters mentally and emotionally. And it talks about this rite of passage and transition and going from where it was difficult to where it's much easier. We have the Eight of Swords, which talks about feeling like you're bound, feeling like you're blinded. These thoughts are out of balance. They're very negative. And you are feeling bound by something in the past, either your childhood or just something in the past. And there was a death. Death is usually symbolized by transformation. It means like a transformation and the strength that you get from that transformation, from shedding what you don't need in order to grow what you do need now. So like a clearing away of the old stuff. But to me, this is more about you felt you were trapped because of a death that happened in the past, like a literal death made you feel like you were trapped. And I'm going to look at it this way, that when you're going to these calmer waters, the other meaning of death, that inner purging, bringing you strength and making way for the new. I'm going to look at it that way too. You are, clearing out your thoughts that you had on this death in the past, this literal death, and you are looking at that past a little more critically now and how it affected you, how it kept you feeling trapped, and you're moving away from that. You're moving to a better place in your thinking and your emotional stability. Or at least you need to focus on moving towards that better place and away from that feeling of trapped. If a person is dead, yes, they can still affect you. I'm not talking about ghosts. I'm talking about the property that they keep in your mind, the memories that you have of them, or, in the case of like trauma, abuse, if you have that tape recorder in your head playing over and over again of somebody's voice, somebody, saying bad things about you, somebody, some event happening in your head over and over again, that can affect you long after the person is dead. And that's something you need to deal with a therapist, right, who specializes in that. But it's also something that you can work on yourself. You can say, okay, I no longer want to have this in my head. I want to deal with this situation. I want this gone. I want to have my own thoughts in my head, my own balanced thoughts, my own healthy thoughts in my head, and I don't want to give real estate to the past anymore, or to this negative person or negative situation. I want to be free of this. And that's something you can say to yourself, right? And you can do something about that. It's a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. So this inner purging, you can do that. Now we have the Queen of Cups, clarified by 4 cups, the Tower and the Upright. And the Tower's in the upright with the Queen of Cups because we have the Lady. So both the Lady and the Queen talk about nurturing. They talk about self-care. They talk about abundance also. Because they're mothers, they're talking about nurturing. And it can be nurturing an idea because we have this 4 of Cups here. You could be nurturing this idea about change. And when the Lady is involved, changing your self-care, right? You're really thinking about being able to use your intuition to protect yourself, to use your gut instinct. You're talking about wanting to change what it is you do for yourself. And the lady talks about nurturing ideas from the beginning to the end. So the child nurtured from the second it was conceived, the second this idea was thought of, until it's born, until it's free in the world. So nurturing this idea of your self-care and changing what you do for that, what the possibilities are, thinking about what those possibilities are until they're reality. And you're continuing to think about them. You might be in that halfway period between thinking about it and it actually happening. And this is saying don't get stuck in the thinking part, but also don't think that it's impossible to change, because it's not impossible to change. I saw 11:11 when I said that. Now over here we have the Tower in reverse, and this is the first one that came out, and it's in the reverse because there's an imbalance. There's an imbalance in your health, and you need to use that inner strength. The Tower, it talks about fear of change. It can also talk about averting a disaster when it's in the reverse. But to me, this is more about you're having this denial or avoidance, and you're fearing change. The change isn't what's scary. What's scary is the letting go, because it's what you've known, right? But there is a call to action here for a rebirth that's going to bring in your abundance. It's going to bring in that creativity, that growth that you actually do want. So, strength, it talks about overcoming things with gentleness, with love, overcoming these struggles that you're having, and just sort of gently persuading, having faith with yourself, because you are called to action. You have the Tower twice, both in the reverse and in the upright. You have it twice. You are being called to act on this, and to make this change, to move forwards with your thinking, with your with this issue in the past and how it's affected you in your life. You're being called to change your approach to it and to keep moving forwards. And you can, be gentle with yourself. You can love yourself. There is nothing wrong with nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. So really look at why you are avoiding this change. Why are you avoiding this call to balance out your health, to be gentle with yourself, to nurture yourself? Why are you avoiding that? What is the fear? There's that famous saying, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Really think about how that is affecting you. Have a great week. Bye.